All right, mate. What's going on? It's Sal, Strapper Post. How you all doing? And welcome to the live watch along between España and Saudi Arabia, guys, in the World Cup. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for drawing me in. So thanks so much for joining me today. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Before I start, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put your notifications on, all that jazz. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Guys, I hope you're well. Guys, listen, look, you know what? Should be a good game. I'm going to go through the lineups very, very shortly, guys. But before I do, again, please don't forget to hit that like button. Got to get the lights up, guys. Algorithms, all that jazz, you know what I mean? Algorithms, you know what they like to do? Rhythm, you know what I mean? So, guys, get them up and let's go for it, guys. Now, let me just go through the lineups real quickly, guys, if you don't mind, if I do, please. Here are the two lineups for the two sides, of course. So we've got Simon. I mean, I find it astonishing. Simon of Athletic Club. Now, I find it astonishing that Marino, Zubamendi, and Raya, they're the best players in the world, apparently, according to Arsenal fans. They're the best players in the world. I was told, I've been gaslighted to think they're the best players in the world. Why are they not in the Spanish lineup? I want to know what's going on there. Right back, we've got Porro of Tottenham, of course. In the centre-backs, we've got Kabasi. Kabasi plays for Barcelona. We've got Laporte, of course, of Athletic Club as the left-sided centre-back. We've got Cucurella of Real Madrid now, of course, formerly of Chelsea. We've got the two midfielders there, Rodri of Manchester City, and we've got Pedri of Barcelona again. In the three up front, we've got Lamine Yamal there, guys. We've got Omo, and we've got Alex Baena. That's the one, Atletico Madrid. And we've got Enzabal. There you go, man. There you go, Mikel Enzabal of Sporting Lisbon. In regards to the Saudi Arabia, we got Al Aways in goal. He plays for Al Ula FC. Many of the players, if not all the players, play in the Middle East, of course. We got Abdul Mohamed. He plays for Lens. There you go. Contrary to Papa believe what I just told you, he plays in France. There you go. We got Tambakti. He plays for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. We got Nanjami, who plays for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. They are playing a 5 at the back, by the way. They're playing a 5-3 sort of thing with two strikers. We got Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, which is Al Amri. And we got the left back, Al Harbi, who plays for Al Hilal as well. It will be dominated by Al Nassr and Al Hilal players. In regards to the midfield, we got Nasser Al Dassari. He plays for Al Hilal. We got the centre back, Akhay Bari. He plays for Al Nassr. We've got the left-sided centre midfielder, I should say. We've got left-sided centre midfielder, Al Jawaya as well. He plays for Al Qadsiya in Saudi Arabia as well. We've got Al Barakain. He plays for Al Ali. And we've got Al Dassari, Salim Al Dassari to be exact. He plays for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, guys. So that is the lineups there. Just a quick rundown of the substitutions real quickly, if you don't mind. We've got David Raya of Arsenal, Joran Garcia, Eric Garcia, Mark Pubel, Marcos Llorente, Alejandro Gramado, Fabian Ruiz, Gavi, Martin Zubamendi of Arsenal, Mikel Merino of Arsenal, Jeremy Pino, Borja Iglesias, Ferran Torres, Nico Williams of Athletic Bilbao, Victor Munoz, who's just signed for Liverpool, as we know. In regards to Saudi Arabia, we got Ahmed Ali Al Qasser, we got Naraf Ali Kidi, we got Ali Majashri, we got Ayman Ayaya, we got Hassan Kadesh, we got Jihad Thakri, we got Nawaf Al Bushal, we got Allah Haji and Mohammed Kanu, we got Mohammed Abu Al Shamat, we got Ziyad A Jahani, Abdullah Al Hamdan, we got Khalid Al Ghanam, we got Saleh Al Shari, and we got Sultan Mandesh. Guys, that's the lineups for you guys. Now, in regards to the groups and stuff like that, how are the groups looking? Now, this group in particular, it's one each. Every single team has a point. So the winner of this game, obviously, will go a long way to solidifying qualification. Spain, obviously, drew with Cape Verde the last game, which was one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history, to be honest with you. They drew with Cape Verde. However, they win today against Saudi Arabia. They'll be on 4 points and they'll be top of the group with, of course, Uruguay and Cape Verde to play tonight about 2 a.m. my time, which I fully expect Uruguay to win that game. And if they win that game, then obviously the Spain and Uruguay will start pulling away. However, nothing is guaranteed in football, just like we said about Spain and Cape Verde. Just a few days ago when they drew with Spain, nobody expected that. It was basically like how many are they going to score and stuff like that, guys. Absolutely. If we go back, guys, I just want to bring in the actual third place league. So basically, the 8 best third place teams go through, and the final, like, there are 12, so 8 of the 12 go through with the best third place team. So Sweden are top of the best third place teams at the moment in 3 points. Scotland are second, Paraguay are third, Belgium are fourth, Portugal are fifth, Spain are sixth, Croatia are seventh, Ecuador are eighth. Bosnia, Panama, Jordan, and Senegal, as we speak, are going out of the tournament as we speak. However, there are another game to go. It could go either way, guys. It could all change. Of course, it could. It could all change. Teams lose their final game. Other teams win their other game as well. Then obviously, that happens, and that can obviously make a detrimental effect to this group. Of course, guys. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, everyone who's joined me today. I really appreciate everyone in the stream, of course. Thank you, guys. Hope everyone is blessed. This should be a good game, to be honest with you. Well, I hope it is a good game. I really do. I hope it's a good game. I hope it's a game that is entertaining and has goals and stuff like that. Of course we do. Let me just say hello to the community as well, guys. Hope everyone is doing well. Big up Ephraim. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you. Big up Rob as well. Big up Dylan. Good to see you. Big up Rob and Dylan. Big up yourselves. Big up Richard. Hope you're well. Big up Fan. Hope you're well, my friend. Big up Mr. Chimpa. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Evening, how you doing? Latest transfer for Man United. Well, going to get into that very soon. Big up yourself. Big up Tybog. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed the game yesterday. Hope you're doing. Forget Man United or Frankfurt. Today, I am Saudi. You're Saudi Arabia. There you go. My goodness me. Tybog, I thought you'd be Spanish. No. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game for Saudi Arabia. Look, Spanish. If Spain leave the tournament, though, you know what I mean? They were the favourites, weren't they? They were the favourites. Absolutely. Big up MEC Jack. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you again. Hope you're well. MEC Jack UK. Hope you're well, bruv. Hope everything is good with you. Yeah, look, guys. Look, it should be a good game. I'm excited to watch it. MEC Jack. Most likely Spain will win. I think Spain will win eventually. I think they'll win 2-0. I think it will be a defensive display from Saudi Arabia. Again, I think they'll be sitting back. But, you never know in football. That's one thing, a great thing about football is that you never know. Things can happen. Look at Cape Verde. No one would have expected Cape Verde to hold Spain to a draw. Nobody. Do you know what I mean? So you never know with Saudi Arabia. They might go out there and they might get something. They might get something in the game. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up Tybor, big up everyone. I'm doing well, very well. Good to see you, MEOC Jack. I'm good. I'm very well. Thank you, mate. I'm sitting here gonna watch the game. Hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully we get some goals. Yes, you know what I mean? Obviously we're waiting for the England-Ghana game. That's what I'm waiting for at the moment, the England-Ghana game. Can't wait for that, solidify qualification and stuff like that, because it's coming home at the end of the day, isn't it? That's what we know. That's all we know. It's coming home. That's it. We don't know how, by hook or by crook, it will come home this year. And that's what I would say. That's what I'm saying to the whole community. Just to be aware, guys, it is coming home this year. So just be aware and put that date on your calendar that it will be a national holiday from next year. Don't forget that. Absolutely not. So, yeah, look, you know what? Anyway, apart from that, so all these teams are runners up, guys. So it's Saudi Arabia and Spain. Now, look, I do say 2-0. I do say 2-0, but part of me says 6-0. You know what I mean? I know it's rude. I know, but part of me does say, you know what I mean? I can't help it, but I think it will be a tight game. I do. I think that Saudi, they jumped leaps and bounds. The league has jumped leaps and bounds. As you know, I've done watch-alongs for the Saudi league over the last few months. You know, they have the quality has increased. Absolutely. Germany got away with it. They see minnows do at least one upset. Germany got away. Let's see the minnows do at least one upset. Well, Cape Verde done an upset, didn't they, Fan? And I wouldn't class obviously Ivory Coast as a minnow. Definitely not. They're a very good football team, full of very good players. But yeah, Cape Verde had an upset. Definitely, that was kind of an upset, wasn't it? And what else have we had in regards to upset? I think that's about it, isn't it? It's nothing basically. Yeah, I think England will beat them on Tuesday. If they can beat Croatia, they can beat Ghana. Yeah, well, I wasn't impressed with Ghana against Panama. That's one thing I would say. Ghana got the last-minute goal after about 94 minutes. And, yeah, I was impressed with Ghana, to be honest with you. It's not the Ghana that was in 2010 World Cup when they got so far in the World Cup and unlucky not to get to the semi-final, of course. But, yeah, look, I do think England will win it. I don't think Ghana are the strongest African nation in the tournament. I think Morocco, Senegal, and Ivory Coast are ahead of them at the moment. But, yeah, England should be able to negotiate a win against the Ghana, absolutely. If they don't, then whatever. But anyway, what I would say is that England just need a draw, don't they? Really, against Ghana. When you think about it, I know it wouldn't be ideal, but England would just need a draw against Ghana. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Big up, fam. Thank you so much for your generosity and kindness. Thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. And that's very kind of you. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate you. Glory, glory, Man United all day long. Absolutely. Let me see if I can get the game on, actually. They're supposed to be showing it on this. Then actually not. Let me have a look. They're actually not showing it on that. So, nothing gone there. Let me just put the thing on. Let me just put this on. Hold on. The manipulation. There we go. Yes, a draw with it. A draw would do, but obviously we want to win, innit? You know, you got to get in that winning habit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think we will. I think we'll win 3-0. That's my prediction anyway. There you go. I think we'll win the game 3-0, honestly. I don't think Ghana are as strong as they used to be. I think one of their main players was it Thomas Partey. Got it. Yeah, I've got it now. Thanks, MEC Jack. I've got it now. Thanks. Don't like it being on the BBC. BBC lags. BBC are useless, mate. It bloody lags. I prefer ITV. It doesn't lag. I actually had it on the Italian channel, but anyway. Irfan, big up Irfan. How you doing? Sorry, I know you, Irfan. You've been here all evening. Big up yourself. Thank you so much for your support, my bro. MEC Jack, BBC was on. Yep. Thank you. Big up. Remember, like, you know what? Spain are the favourites, of course they are. But one thing about Spain, they notoriously start tournaments slowly. If you take it back to when I think it was the 2010 World Cup, wasn't it? Something like that, or where they lost the first game to Switzerland. I remember it, and I think they lost 1-0, and Switzerland just had a rear guard action against them. It was attack against defence and stuff like that. If I seem to remember correctly, but yeah. They always start, but it's not necessarily how you start, it's how you finish, isn't it, guys? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. I know it's the old cliche, but I do believe it. You know, you can start slowly, man. You know, that happens sometimes. I remember United winning the treble. You know, we started the Champions League slowly. We drew the first few games, didn't we? And we could have easily been knocked out of that treble winning season in the Champions League very early, guys, if you remember. So, you know, it's not it's not necessarily that you win all the opening games and everything's going to be right. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily work like that. Do you know what I mean? I would say about that. Absolutely. Guys, you watching the game news? Are you watching the New Zealand game? Yes, I'm doing that tomorrow morning, MEC Jack. I'm actually in the Middle East at the moment, MEC Jack. So I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to catch it at 5. Of course, I will be doing that game. Absolutely. I will be doing the New Zealand game tomorrow, of course, which is another one that should be an interesting game, of course. So looking forward to seeing that. I am doing the Belgium game later on as well. Don't forget that. I'm doing Belgium-Iran later on as well. So that should be an interesting game. Hard for us last night. Exactly how what I expected. Credit to Ivory Coast. Maybe deserve more, but in the end for us. You know what, Tybug? I mean, at the end of the day, everyone knows that Ivory Coast are a very good football team and they're very difficult to beat. They don't lose a lot of games. And for Germany to show character in the way they did. And one thing I was impressed about was the fact that Nagelsmann, he made the right subs at the right time. And very impressed with Undav. Obviously, the Stuttgart player played very well this season for Stuttgart. Very impressed with him. Gets in the right positions. A proper poacher, isn't he? Really dangerous player. And in the end, obviously, it was a very scrappy game between two sides. Some may say it was a bit tactical, but it was a very scrappy game. But in the end, I would say that Germany deserved to win that game, just about. But it was a hard game, and you're going to get those games anyway. Obviously, with Ivory Coast, a very physical side. They have a number of good players. You know, I mean, let's be honest. They've got players valued at 100 million in their team, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? There are some players there that I've been scouting as well. There's Ulai, who was brilliant, of course. It's 2 a.m. UK time. It's mad, isn't it, mate? It's mad, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm 3 hours behind. I'm 3 hours ahead of the UK. So, I will be waking up early in the morning, break of dawning, doing that stream, of course. Iran, that game, New Zealand tomorrow. New Zealand obviously did very well in their first game against Turkey. And obviously, Turkey are out. So, I'm not going to do the Turkey game. Obviously, the Turkey game is the Turkey are out and USA, isn't it? They're through. So, not going to be doing that. Definitely not. But the not USA. But who are they playing tomorrow? Let me have a look. But I've already done the thumbnail. I can't even know why I've forgotten. World Cup fixtures. So many fixtures going on. We're ready. We're ready for the game, guys. We're ready to kick off here. Saudi are playing in all white, playing from right to left, guys, and Spain are playing from there. But Spain have kicked off. Here we go, guys. World Cup, Spain against Saudi Arabia. One of those games, you never know. You never know. It might be one of those games. Absolutely. So let me have a look at this. So tomorrow, what we got? So we have got New Zealand. I know New Zealand, they got Egypt tomorrow. Yes, Egypt against New Zealand. It's an interesting game. That's an interesting game. I don't think that's a given. Here comes Spain on the straight away on the attack on the left hand side. Good little bit of play. Lamine Yamal on the ball here, taking on his man, taking it, cutting inside, cutting back on the inside. He could cross it in here. Could be a chance for Spain. Cleared already. Panic stations for Saudi Arabia in the opening seconds of the game, of course. Spain, in theory, guys, Spain need to win, don't they? Spain need to win, definitely. Yeah, and obviously we got Argentina tomorrow and Austria, guys. So I will be doing Argentina, Austria as well. So it's an interesting one. But I will be doing Belgium, Iran later on. I'm not doing Uruguay, Cape Verde. Nah, not for me, guys. Absolutely not. It's 2 a.m. for me. I'm not going to be doing that. That is no. You never know, but I'm not going to be doing that game. Absolutely not. Hopefully New Zealand win. Egypt against New Zealand. I mean, that's the thing. The World Cup, it corrupts up those games that you don't expect, isn't it? You know what I mean? These games that are, difficult to predict. That game is difficult to predict, to be honest with you. I'll be honest, I can't predict that game. A minute gone, already a hectic start. And Spain obviously are going to be on the front foot more or less from the beginning. Obviously, Spain will feel they need to win this game. Absolutely. Tyberg, here comes Spain though on the attack. Chance, deflected, corner. If the Saudis manage to survive the first 20 minutes, the pressure will be on Spain. Yes, because if Spain draw, the pressure will be immense on the final game. The final game will be like, wow. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you can go through, with 3 points or 2 points. Minimum you need is 4 points, and that doesn't even guarantee you a place because obviously then there's going to be the goal difference and things like that. So they've got to win this game and at least draw let's get the last game to solidify basically their position as the last 32. Would I want Spain to go through? I probably do want Spain to go through. The reason is that I want competitiveness in the tournament. I don't want Spain to win it, but I like Spain. I want competitiveness in the tournament. I want there to be good players and good teams. I don't want it coming to the next round and then Saudi Arabia against Argentina and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And teams getting an easy ride into the quarterfinals and things. You know what I mean? I'd much rather, it's the last 16 now, isn't it? Keep forgetting we got a last 32. Cross comes in, chance for Spain. Well held by the goalkeeper there, the Saudi goalkeeper. Well held by the Saudi goalkeeper there. Spain are dominating right now. Spain are really, really on fire right now. They are pressing Saudi Arabia quite strongly in this game. They're pressing them quite hard. Big up, Kenny. What's going on, my friend? I think Saudi Arabia will put up a good fight today, but Spain will just win by the nick of a goal. Yeah, I think it might be one of those games where Saudi Arabia defend really well, Spain get one goal, and then Spain get a second goal, and it'd be 2-0, something like that. But the one thing about Spain, the one thing that I've noticed about Spain is that they play around the box. They play around. So if you could just... Great shot by Lamine Yamal. But Lamine Yamal will make a difference today because obviously he didn't start that game against Cape Verde. So he will make a big difference today. But one thing about Spain is that they do play around the box. They don't press inside the box. Do you know what I mean? And get those crosses in. You know what I mean? And get the ball into the box. They're very much around the box. I mean, I don't know if anyone watched Arsenal back in under Arsene Wenger, the latter days, where Arsenal would pass the ball around the box, but they wouldn't threaten. They would just pass. They'll get a lot of possession. They'll get a lot of that, but they wouldn't threaten. Do you know what I mean? Richard, Yamal is a new breed of arrogant players like Haaland and Mbappe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Good player, great player, potential to be a very, very good player, world-class player. But obviously, I was braised on players like, great players in my lifetime, who are, it's just hard to please me, unfortunately. But yeah, Haaland, obviously, he does the business in it. But they're rich, isn't it? They're rich and everything like that. Heard Curacao got their first World Cup point. Yes, they did. Ain't you been watching, Kenny? Did they get their first? Yeah, they got it against Ecuador. Well, yeah, 0-0, mate. But this is exactly what I've been saying. Is I was saying it on the last stream. Some of these South American teams are not very good. Paraguay, Ecuador, but they always seem to be in the World Cup. They like make the numbers up. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing, And Curacao have proven that. Look at Germany. What Germany did to Curacao. Look what they did to Curacao. They actually ripped Curacao apart, didn't they? 7-1, and Ecuador couldn't even do that. There is. I'll be honest with you. There is a lot of average here in this tournament. A lot of average. Here comes Spain. I do really feel that. Having said that about Lamine Yamal, I do feel that Lamine Yamal adds so much to their team. I think he adds that element of quality on that right-hand side, and he's dangerous. He's always taking on his man. He gets the crosses in. It's a very dangerous player. Of course, won the league with Barcelona this season. Barcelona were excellent this season, of course, guys. He's a good player. He is a good player. Spain are dominating as they expected to dominate. I expect Spain to dominate this game. Of course, I do. Given the situation, given the first game, drawing that game, of course, 0-0. Guys, don't forget smash a like, guys, on the video if you don't mind. It'd be fantastic if we can get the lights up. But here comes Saudi Arabia on a counter attack. This is where Spain have to be careful, isn't it? They're on the left hand side. Nobody's in the box at the moment. The players, they're starting to catch up now, but they got it into the box. There you go. See, look. At the end of the day, Saudi need to try. That was Salim on there. Saudi need to try and attack when they can, not just be exclusively defensive. Because at the end of the day, when you're so defensive and you can see the goal, it's very hard to flip from that mentality to going from defensive to attack. It's very difficult to do that, and I do feel that they need to try and stuff. Ecuador was so high, so much overhyped because of their defensive record, but up front there is nothing. I mean, Tybo, there's a lot of teams like, I spoke about it yesterday, and I'm not dissing, I'm not saying anything rude, but when you've got the likes of Nigeria, Cameroon, Albania, Serbia, Ukraine, Denmark, Ireland, not in the World Cup, players like Kvaratskhelia, not in the World Cup, it does really make you feel like, well, come on, man, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot people saying, "Oh, you're out of order." Do you know what I mean? And everyone deserves a chance. Of course they do, but it should be earned fairly. Unfortunately, I think the European qualification stage is extremely difficult. I know that there's some of the African teams there, especially Tunisia. I don't know how they qualified, but all I see every single World Cup is Tunisia get to the World Cup and don't do anything. Same with Algeria. I mean, and Egypt. They get to the World Cup and just do nothing. You know what I mean? So obviously, there's just cross comes in on the volley there from Omo. Nothing, goes straight over the bar. Richard, the problem is modern defenders can't defend properly anymore. Modern defenders don't put their head in where it hurts anymore, do they, Richard? Do you know what I mean? Back in the day where we used to remember, I hate to be banging on that back in the day, but we have to, reference it because that's when football was good, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? I would say that, players used to put their foot in where it hurts, their head in where it hurts. You know what I mean? These days, they don't do that. These days, they're just like, it's more like a zonal marking sort of thing where it's non-physical and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's complete football's changed, isn't it, in general and stuff like that. Turkey had 62 shots and 0 goals scored. Yes, Kenny, yes. But that's exactly that, isn't it? You can have as many shots as you want if you don't put the ball in the back of the net. One thing I would say about Turkey, because I was watching that game, is that they had a lot of shots from 40 yards, mate. And I spoke about it on the game yesterday, that they were just so clueless in the final third. They didn't know what to do. So they would get the ball at 40 yards out. You got a centre-back taking a shot from 40 yards. That was what was happening yesterday. You know what I mean? And they deserve to get knocked out at the end of the day because they didn't do nothing. But let's not forget Paraguay, right? Lost their first game, opening game 4-1 to the USA, and they conceded goals. They were down to 10 men for more than half that game. Here come Spain, good strike over the bar. Turkey is the biggest disappointment. They're going home. You see, this is the thing, Tyler. If you football don't wait for anybody. If you don't perform, you don't score goals, you're going to go out the tournament pretty quickly. And one thing I noticed about Turkey, it's not about lack of quality. Absolutely not. It's temperament. And it was making the right decisions at the right time. As I said, shooting for 40 yards and things like that. They got the likes of Arda Güler and what's the other player? Keenan Yildiz in their team. Do you know what I mean? So they've got good players and they've got experienced players that play all around Europe. Here comes Spain. A little bit of space here on the left-hand side. Spain have got an opportunity. It's going to be 1-0. It is 1-0 already. And it is Lamine Yamal with the tap. Is that Lamine Yamal? Is it? Yes, it's Lamine Yamal with the tap in. He came in. Inevitable Lamine Yamal. He came in at the right time. Perfect timing. Great cross. 1-0 to España against Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was sitting back the whole game. It was inevitable that was going to happen. That's Lamine Yamal was going to come out of nowhere, ghost out of nowhere, and score a goal. And they're 1-0 up already, guys. Spain are 1-0 up. Look, you know what? That's what happens, isn't it? You have to try your best to push out, not just sit there and hope for a draw. You've got to try sometimes to push out and stuff like that. Big up Lamine Yamal. Big up Lamine Yamal. Big up Spain. 1-0 to Spain. And already. Players are cry. Modern players are crybabies of fate injuries. Agreed, Richard. That's why we get so much bloody injury time. Absolutely. It might be over just about. Typo, to be honest with you, it might be over. But the thing is that Spain, it's their most dangerous player, is it, Lamine Yamal? Because Lamine Yamal can get goals, he can get assists and stuff like that. He's dangerous. He's definitely a dangerous player, but he's totally unmarked on the far post there. Nobody covering for him. Nobody there to cover him in that space. Definitely Saudi look open today. Like I said, it could be 0-0, 2-0, or 7-0. That's how I feel about this game at the moment. I mean, 0-0, 2-0, or 7-0. Honestly, the way Saudi Arabia are, Spain, of course, Spain don't mess around. Not twice, definitely not. European champions, of course. Let's not forget that they won the European Euros against England. Unlucky for England, of course, but they did. Hopefully, it's a different scenario this time. But obviously, Spain, the further they get into the tournament, the more dangerous Spain are going to be. Definitely, you know what I mean. I'm sure a lot of teams or anyone who has the potential to play Spain in the next round would love Spain to get knocked out. I don't know. I would much rather have Spain in the tournament for now. You know what I mean? I would say absolutely. Guys, bear me a second, guys. Bear me a second. Yes, obviously, look, the thing is with Saudi Arabia, as we said earlier in the show, is that Saudi Arabia needed to have the opening 20 minutes, quiet. They have conceded already. If Spain score again, then it could be floodgates. So it was nearly 2-0, guys, just now. It could seriously get serious for Saudi Arabia if not careful. I remember when Germany, do you remember, Tyborg, when Germany smacked them 7? It might be something like that, you know what I mean? Back in 2002, wasn't it? It might be something like that again. That 7-0 sort of thing. You can't look. I've never believed, right, in setting a team up just to nullify it, just to defend. I've never believed in that. I think you always have to try it, because at the end of the day, you believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You're at the World Cup. You're in the same position as Spain. You're at the World Cup. Believe in yourself. All right. If they can keep it 1-0 up until the second half, who knows what can happen? Do you know what I mean? Tyborg, I think it's Kenny. Spain will give their all after the last game's disappointment. They've already started like a house on fire. You can tell that Spain are up for this game. They obviously were very embarrassed against Cape Verde. I'm hearing that Spain, they were outraged to the point they said they should have sacked the manager. You know what I mean? And stuff like that, Lamine Yamal is obviously the game changer for them. He's the one that makes all the difference, in my opinion, is Lamine Yamal. But here comes Saudi Arabia. Oh, it was almost a sliding ball through, but it just about got blocked there. Yamal could have even tied George Best. All right, no, he couldn't. Richard, absolutely, I agree with that one. Yes, of course, he couldn't tie Rivaldo's boots, and there's many players out there. Do you know what I mean? That he couldn't tie the boots for. Oh yeah, it was 8-0. I remember that game very well. I remember that game. It was just like a goal fest. I remember it, and there was the top scorer, wasn't it? The top scorer in one of the top scorers in World Cup history. He kept smashing those goals in, definitely, and only scored for Germany, didn't he? Shot, yeah, very far out. Big up Earthman, hope you're doing well. Ferran Torres missed a lot of easy chances last game. Yeah, Ferran Torres. What do you make of this Alvarez link to what is it? It's Alvarez to Arsenal, isn't it? Is he going to Arsenal? Is it Alvarez to Arsenal? Real Madrid, here we go. What's a Real Madrid? Here we go. What's a Real Madrid? Here we go. Let me have a look. There's no Real Madrid, here we go, fan. What are you talking about, mate? There's no Real Madrid, here we go. What are you on about? There's no Real Madrid, here we go, mate. Don't waste my time, bro. There's no Real Madrid, here we go. Pressing for Saudi Arabia there. No, I mean, yeah, they got to work hard now, because obviously when Spain go 1-0 up, they're going to keep the ball very well, as we know, and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, they're going to keep the ball well there. They got everyone in the stream. Don't forget to smash a like, guys, on the stream. Julian Alvarez, I'll tell you right now, though, Kenny, right? Julian Alvarez got to be one of the most overrated players I know. Like, you know what I mean? Definitely. Straight at the goalkeeper, cross coming from Lamar, straight at the goalkeeper. I was the goalkeeper for Saudi Arabia. How many goals would have R9 scored in modern day football? Probably 80 a season, mate. I would have said Richard. He was unstoppable on his day. Actually, favorite World Cup, Kit World Cup, Germany. Thomas, again. Germany, and there's a couple. The Mexico one is I like as well. The away Mexico one, the black one, I think it's lovely. That one as well. But I like the Germany one. I always think Germany have lovely kits, and I like the Mexico one. Absolutely. Trust me, bro, mate. You know, I have got social media in front of me here. You know what I mean? Here we go. What the hell, man? You know what I mean? The only thing that on Fabrizio Romano, if it is a here we go, because it is Fabrizio Romano when you talk about here we go, is Munoz. Inter verbal proposal for Curtis Jones. That, yeah, instantly rejected by Liverpool. Basically, Curtis Jones. That's about it, really. Nothing else there. Nothing else given. Guys, no. I like the Brazil black one as well. There are some nice ones, especially the Adidas original ones, Kenny. They're nice. You know, I do like them. I like a lot of the shirts, to be honest with you. A lot of them are really nice. This time, definitely. I felt that the Italy one was the best, but Italy are not in the World Cup. They got knocked out. They made this beautiful kit, and then they didn't get in the World Cup. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah. The last here we go from Real Madrid was Cucurella. Nothing really much. Yeah, Cucurella's a Real Madrid player. We all know that. Chance. Oh goodness me, he got his angles wrong there. He got his angles all wrong there. Arazabal. He should have nicked that past the goalkeeper. To be honest with you, he got all his angles wrong. You know, right there. Lamine Yamal, guys, look, I appreciate good footballers. At the end of the day, we were raised in an era where footballers were next level. You know, they were next level. Every single team had great footballers. Every international team had at least one great footballer. But you know, I appreciate the young players, the player coming through and you know, contributing to football, because obviously it's always nice to respect good players coming through and stuff. It's not, you know, they are egotistical maniacs these days. Absolutely, they're very egotistical. That's due to them being rich so soon. It's not like the old days where they had to work to get where they are. Nowadays, they're pampered at a very young age. They're getting thousands a week when they're kids. Do you know what I mean? Tybo, every single kit is nicer than those in the 80s. The kit is nicer. I like the kits in the 80s, Tybo. A lot of them are copying the 80s, Tybo. They're copying the 80s. All that Adi color, all that Adidas original stuff is 80s. JJ Gabriel will be your Yamal. I hope so. Fingers crossed, Richard. Let's hope he stays at the football club, number one. You know what I mean? We need to tie him down. We can't tie him down to a contract at the moment, obviously, because of his age. What we need to do, we need to play him. We don't necessarily have to play him from the start, but bringing him on as a substitute and things like that. Look, we got some games coming up, Richard. The opening 5 games, I think we can win all 5. Even against Man City, I think we can win that game. And there's 4 games plus Man City, the final game of the 5, and I think we can win all those games. And hopefully we can get JJ Gabriel corner to Spain. Hopefully we can get JJ Gabriel an opportunity. That would be great. Absolutely. I think he's good enough. If you're good enough, you're old enough at the end of the day. Hopefully he does. Hopefully we get Jim Thwaites in sometimes as well. Kokunki maybe. There's Shea Lacey in the team as well. Yeah, hopefully we can do that next season. It's a corner to Spain, guys. Really, Saudi need to just calm down a little bit, guys, because if they have from the beginning of the game they've been huffing and puffing and they've been conceding opportunities to Spain. Spain could have been 2-0 up already. Here we go, chance. Yeah, it's over. 2-0. Arazabal has got the goal, guys. It's 2-0 to Spain. Now this can get worryingly bad for Saudi Arabia, guys. Spain are 2-0 up here. Arazabal has got the goal, the Real Sociedad player. We played against him last season, if you remember, a couple of seasons ago or something. They're making so much space for Spain. They've approached this game the wrong way, tactically inept, and they're just going to succeed. I said it, guys. It could be, it could be 7-8, definitely. What is that? Are they gonna? What is it? Is it a VAR? There's no offside. No, he's onside. He's onside. There's no offside there. Yeah, it's a goal. Blatant goal. Nothing wrong with that one. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Richard, Gabriel, Godwell, Lacey, and Thwaites need to be on the bench for the whole game against Ipswich. Yeah, look, depending on the squad, Richard, I really do hope so. I mean, one of the biggest criticisms I had for Carrick last season was that he didn't really give any opportunities to any of the youngsters, even though he should have. Of course, I don't blame him that much, obviously, because we didn't have any cup competitions and we just had the league, innit? So I really do hope that we see some of them next season. JJ Gabriel, absolutely. JJ Gabriel's an absolute generation. We need to look after him and make sure he gets his fair share of goals, of chances, should I say. I really do hope so. Do you know what I mean? Because he's probably one of the best young players to come out of Man United in years, isn't he? Absolutely. Saudi, look, I don't know what Saudi do now. I'm really confused what Saudi do, fan. I mean, 2 things Saudi can do. They can probably defend and just not get embarrassed, or they can try and go for it. It's a situation you're in now, isn't it? What do you do, guys? Do you just... It's hard against Spain, isn't it? When Spain are like this, when Spain are on song, it's hard. But I do feel like Saudi Arabia will come out of this game and started playing the occasion, not the actual game. They've looked at Spain and thought, oh, Spain, you know what I mean? Oh, Spain. They look at the name. That's what they do. And, they've panicked somewhat. And, I know that Saudi are better than this, but this is what they do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. It's 3-0. Bloody hell. 3-0. It's only 20 minutes gone, 22 minutes gone. Saudi Arabia, my friends, what are you doing? 3-0 to Spain, 22 minutes on the clock, 3-0. Unbelievable. This is going to get embarrassing, guys. I told you. Arazabal again. This is going to get embarrassing, guys. This is going to get embarrassing. Look, 3-0. That's what I'm talking about, quality, mate. Goodness me. DJ Khaled, yeah. Kenny, if we don't sign a left back, we could always use Goodwell at left back. So yes, Richard, we can. Goodwell, Kokunki. I mentioned him. He's one of my favourite players in the youth. I think he's going to be a brilliant player. Do you know what I mean? It's times like this, man. I thank God I support England. Do you know what I mean? Because some of these teams, my goodness me, I mean, 3-0 after 22 minutes. I could have got a team together and we wouldn't be 3-0 after 22 minutes. My goodness me. Let's not forget that Saudi Arabia have a proper league, and everything. It's not like they're San Marino or something like that. Do you know what I mean? They have a proper league and stuff like that. What do Saudi do now? They're out of this game. This game is over. I don't see Spain conceding 3 goals. Absolutely not. But what do they do now? It's all up in the air now, isn't it? Definitely. Poor from Saudi Arabia. Defensively, absolutely atrocious. It can be 8 again. You know that. It can be 8 again. They are making up for the Cape Verde game. I expected them to do that. I expected Spain to do that. Saudi Arabia should have expected that as well. They should have expected Spain to come out and avenge that that thing. We got a hydration break here, guys. We got how long? We got 24 minutes on the clock. There's a hydration break here, as you do, guys. Just to let you know that this game is being, guys, is let me just see this 1 second. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. I mean, Saudi Arabia come back for it. This game is being played in Atlanta, Georgia, guys. Just to let you know. If Saudi Arabia come back from this, it'd be a monumental, one of the greatest comebacks in football history. Literally, do you know what I mean? At the moment, 72% possession for Spain, 28% for. It's just amateur, man. It's just amateur. I mean, you've got to do better than that. The way they're defending the unmarked and stuff. Yeah, Spain are a fantastic team, but you've got to do better, man. You've got to keep it tight for the open 20 minutes. We were saying it at the beginning of the game, keep it tight for the open 20 minutes. And you know what? You never know and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? That they had other ideas. They said, hold my beer, and then we go. You know what I mean? And it was, there we go. Absolutely. We got everyone, guys. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, to be absolutely fantastic, guys. Thank you, everyone who's joined me today. I've got a lot of people joining in today. That's great, of course. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate that. You legends, of course, guys. Bear me a second. Predictions from now, guys. Predictions from now. Not 4-3 to Saudi Arabia. I'm not gonna have that. I think it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying, guys? I think it's gonna be 8. I think it's gonna be like that Germany game. Back in 2002. If you know, you know. I think it's going to be like 8 or something like that. Honestly, I'm not even lying, guys. I think it's going to be an embarrassment. Belgium against Iran later on, guys. I'm doing Belgium against Iran after this game. Be an hour space, and then I'll do Belgium against Iran after this game. Of course, Belgium and Iran drew their opening games of the tournament, so that game should be very, very interesting indeed. Looking forward to that. We've got about 20 minutes of this half to go. 3-0 to Spain already, plus obviously injury time coming in and stuff like that. So, yeah, look, Saudi need to be better. That's it. You know what I mean? Thomas, Sal, is there anything United fans can do to get the leeches out of the club? It's the local fans that can make an impact, or can the fans from abroad also contribute? Fans from abroad can contribute, in particular the USA fans. The fans from America can contribute because they can protest outside the Glazers' house. Something I've never seen before. We got a lot of fans in America, but they don't really do anything, in regards to protesting and stuff like that. It's very difficult. Let me tell you why, in regards to Manchester United, because Manchester United fan base are like cults, right? Man United fan base, they're more interested in attacking people online and social media content creators than actually making a change and getting the leeches out. This is why any other football club, whether it is Bayern Munich, whether it was Inter Milan or Liverpool or any one of them, they would have got the Glazers out by now. They would have unified and got the Glazers out by now. Unfortunately, with the Manchester United fan base, whenever we get something a little bit positive happen, i.e. a win or something like that, we forget about the movement, and we are part-time protesters, right? And when we do protest, and all fair to the people that protest and all fair play to the people that organize the protests, we just sing songs, chants, and things like that. It's not intimidating enough. You know what I mean? In my opinion. Tyberg, big up Tyberg. I think at least 6 as we stand, definitely, if they're lucky. You know what I mean? Definitely. Big up Hussein. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. I'm well. Here comes Spain again. Chance, and they cannot make it 4-0 after 28 minutes. That's just embarrassing, man. You come to the World Cup, you know what I mean? You've got to make sure you make a name for yourself, and you're hard. Number one, be hard to beat. I mean, not people are saying that you got to go out there and beat Spain. You know what I mean? It's you got to be hard to beat. Do you know what I mean? And not just cave in like a Division 3 side. Yeah, I mean, because that's what it is at the moment. They're playing like a third division side or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's disappointing. They are really disappointed. They have really disappointed me, to be fair, honestly. Um, yeah, it's a yellow card for Saudi Arabia. And the last thing they need is a red card, isn't it? The last thing that Saudi Arabia needs is a red card. It is the number 10 for Saudi Arabia who has got the red card. Is Al Dosari. Guys, there used to be a good goalkeeper who used to play for Saudi Arabia back in the day. Al Dosari, I think it was Al Dosari. He was a very good goalkeeper. I remember going to see Saudi Arabia against England at Wembley back in 1998, and it was 0-0 actually. His name is Salim. The Saudi Arabian player's got the yellow card. Yeah. Spain cleared the ball. Yeah, Spain. You know what I mean? These sort of games, right? These sort of games can go either way. Like in regards at the beginning, like exactly what I said. It can either be a 0-0 or 7-8-0. Do you know what I mean? It's exactly what I said, isn't it? You know, it could be a 0-0 or 7-8-0. These games are so unpredictable. It's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? And but now, obviously, it's more likely to be an 8-0. Unfortunately for Saudi Arabia, of course, guys. Unfortunately for them, it's more likely to be that. Back here with the goalkeeper of Saudi Arabia, they're hardly getting out their own half. This is the thing. And the one thing about if you give up so much possession, especially a team like Spain, they just play around you and they exhaust you. They make you exhausted. To be fair, looking at this Saudi Arabian away kit is pretty nice, isn't it? Adidas Originals has done a good job with that. I think Adidas Original, they've only done bad job for Man United kits. I think the Man United home kit is so simple. I don't know what you think about that, but it's a bit controversial. Hot take here. But I think the Man United home kit is too simple. It's just typical. It just looks like the kit from a couple of years ago. That's it. I'm looking at some shirts in this World Cup and I'm thinking like, wow, that's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. And a lot of them are Adidas Originals. A lot of them are Adidas. And Man United come out and Man United have got 2017 Hold My Beer. Tyberg, I must say I've never watched the World Cup games as I do now. It's always a club football for me. It has to do something with this channel. Oh, big up Tyberg. Yeah, of course. I mean, I've always watched the World Cup. Obviously, priorities Manchester United every single time. But whilst it's the summer, isn't it? I just feel like I watch the World Cup and stuff like that. Absolutely. What's up, Rajat? How you doing? Getting dominated? Yes, as expected. They are getting dominated. No doubt about that, Rajat. Yeah, to say the least. If the game ended now, I think Saudi Arabia would be very happy and they'll take that 100%. They'll be very happy with that. If the game, of course, ended now, of course, guys, they'd be very, very happy with that, of course. But it is 3-0. Well, if they get a goal, you never know. But you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. I can't even see Saudi Arabia getting a goal, to be honest with you. When you get into that mode in football, when you get into that defensive sort of mode and you're just the backs against the wall, it's very hard to flip that and become an attacking side. It is really difficult to do that and become an attacking side, you know. I'll take it. Tyborg, even Carousel looked better than Germany v Saudis today. Yeah, and the thing is, Saudi have actually got a proper league and everything. Saudi have actually got big players playing in the league. You would have thought they would have learned something. You know what I mean? You would have thought they would have learned something at least. You know what I mean? No, obviously not. Yeah, you know what? An awful start for them. An awful start for them. I mean, the funny thing is, we were talking about them being quiet for the opening 20 minutes, keeping Spain quiet for the opening 20 minutes. Little did we know it's going to be 3-0 after 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah. Richard, Man United fan base divided around being a Goldbridge follower, United follower, etc. We need to become one voice to remove these parasites out. Mate, Man United fans are more interested in Mark Goldbridge, more interested in social media content creators, including myself, guys, a few years ago, had the whole I literally had a big chunk of the fan base against me, right? Until they got to know me and understood what I'm about. I understand that, but this is the problem, innit? This is the problem where they're so infatuated, they're so obsessed with content creators and things like that. And yes, some of them are, but the thing is, they go after the wrong content creators. Mark actually speaks a lot of truth about, the Glazers and Ineos, and he doesn't gaslight them. Some of these content creators just gaslight you for about Ineos and trying to persuade you that they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. And I'm like, in what world are they actually doing a great job? I don't understand this theory that they're doing a great job. It baffles me when they say that. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking they did this wrong, they did that wrong, they did that wrong. Do you know what I mean? And we could be all night. Oh, that would have been a great goal from Aranza, but he's having a time of his life. Guys, the striker from Real Sociedad, Ayarzabal. It was a poor piece of goalkeeping, but what a strike with his outside of his foot. It hit the crossbar. The goalkeeper was, unbelievable. The goalkeeper gave it straight to him, and with his outside of his foot, he just bent it. That was an unbelievable strike, guys. A really unbelievable strike there. Kenny, nearly hat-trick for Spain strike. As well. And I was criticising him last game. I was saying that Ayarzabal didn't have a good game. Big up Danny B. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope everything is blessed with you. Here comes Spain again, though. No rest for the wicked. Here comes Spain. Is it 2-0, 3-0, 4-0? Oh, is it 4-0? No, it's not. It's saved. Clearance again for Saudi Arabia. Spain come again on the left-hand side, looking for that fourth goal. My goodness me. Well, if they win this game and they win it handsomely, like 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, they're basically through Spain because the best third place go through anyway. And that goal difference will obviously set them up properly. Hussein, there is a lot of nations doesn't deserve to be in the World Cup. Imagine they made two main groups, six, seven nations, 1, 2. I don't know, but all I would say is this, right? That the whole system needs to be revamped. It just needs to be revamped. The whole of America, North America, CONCACAF, and South America need to be one. Like, they need to mix it up with all of them, right? All of them. The same with Australia, New Zealand, and Australia and all them who always qualify. They need to mix it up with the Asian groups, right? With South Korea and Japan and all that. They need to mix it all up, right? In regards to the Middle East, in regards to them, it's very difficult, of course, to get through. But then you can look at Qatar, who've done pretty well, but they lost 6-0 the last game. The problem is what you're going to have. You have to have teams from different areas of the world. That's what the World Cup is. You have to have teams from different areas of the world. How they're going to improve if you don't, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you have to. But there are some teams in this tournament, I would say, look, nobody's going to criticize Saudi Arabia for getting slapped up against Spain. European sides get slapped up against Spain. It happens sometimes. But one thing is right, they have to revamp the qualification periods thing. They have to, the qualification period. Here comes Spain. Lamine Yamal on the left. Spain almost got through there again. Big up, Rob. Big up, Rob, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Big up, Danny. It's a difficult one because you won a World Cup. You want to be a World Cup. You don't want it being a European Championships. Do you know what I mean? It has to be a World Cup. These teams have to be given opportunities, right? However, the qualification, is too easy for some, I would say, and they qualify. Look, let me just give you an example, right? Brazil lost 6 games in the qualification period in South America, right? 6. There are teams in Europe that didn't lose 1 game and didn't go to the World Cup, Tyberg, I'm extremely disappointed with some of these United fan channels. It seems like United is not the most important thing for them. No, then it's not, mate. They act like they love Man United, but they don't. They don't love Man United like we do. They act like they do, but it's basically a big, huge conflict of interest. That's all it is. A big, huge conflict of interest, and they're not interested in Man United. They're interested in being right. They're interested in their own conflict of interest of what they're going to get from the club and, what can the Glazers give them and stuff like that, guys. You know what I mean? And it's embarrassing about it, our fan base. Some of them have big platforms as well. That's what I said. Like, I will always call it as it is, no matter what. I will always call it as it is. I will never sugarcoat anything. And look, I can easily come in here. Look, for example, Mark Goldbridge has never done anything for me. I know Mark Goldbridge. I've known him for 7 years, right? He's never done anything for me. Not one thing has he done for me. Nothing. Whether I support him or not support him, he's not done nothing for me. But I will sit here and tell you that at least he speaks up against Ineos and the Glazers. At least he comes out and he says the truth. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. I agree. Before in Asia, it was 4 nations from the main 2 groups. The continent qualifying now 7 nations. It depends, isn't it? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what can you do? You know, there's still many nations who never get a chance to play the World Cup. Saudi. The problem is Saudi. What I would say for Saudi, right, is Saudi, Tunisia, Algeria, Egypt. They're getting the World Cup a lot. Let's forget about Curacao and Cape Verde and that are never in the World Cup. But these teams get in the World Cup a lot, right? And they always do crap, basically, every single time. So what's going on there? It's a mentality thing, because the Saudi Arabian League is fantastic. I've done the Saudi Arabian League. I've done a watch-along for the Saudi Arabian League on here. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. I just can't see how they don't improve. And obviously, like I said, it's Spain. Spain are the European champions, by the way. Anyone could get slapped up against Spain. But let's not forget, Saudi drew their first game, didn't they? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, they're not that bad. It's just Spain could do this to any single team at any given time. So if Saudi Arabia can draw against Uruguay, right, who drew against England only a few weeks ago, it's not necessarily, you know, you can't really judge them on this game. You know what I mean? Spain are on fire, but they drew with Uruguay with Valverde and all them lot. You know what I mean? So yeah, you have to look at it in for all different angles and stuff. The biggest problem for me is teams like Tunisia, right, who get to the World Cup every single time, and every single time they're rubbish. You know what I mean? Dylan, good point, Sal, but I won't be a pre-World Cup. It feels like that with a different continents. It's just, obviously, what I would say, Dylan, is that what we want quality football, isn't it? We want quality football. We want competitive games. What if people heard what Roy Keane said a couple of weeks ago, before the World Cup, actually, he said, I'm all for having great teams at the World Cup, but they have to be able to compete. And I think he's absolutely spot on. Chance for Spain, wide of the post from Yarzabal again. They have to be able to compete, and they're not competing, mate. They are actually Championship, League One, League Two, National League even sides that would give up more of a fight than some of these teams. And obviously that's the problem. But then you're caught in a catch-22, isn't it? You're like, well, you know what I mean? It has to be a World Cup though, doesn't it? You know, at the end of the day, otherwise it's just going to be a Euros Championship and a couple of South American sides. I would also argue, Dylan, that some of the South American sides have been absolutely atrocious. I think Paraguay, Ecuador, they're rubbish. You know what I mean? Panama, you know, I mean, what, you know, there's loads, man. There's loads. You know, people want to talk about who's the next continent, who's going to be the next world champions. But let me just tell you something. People talk a lot about Asian football, right? But South Korea and Japan have more chance of being world champions than any one of those South Americans. honestly, apart from obviously Argentina and Brazil. I'm looking at Japan. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at them. That's the levels that you have to be at. Do you know what I mean? Who do you want to be the next shirt sponsor of United? Sharp. Sharp. Tyberg, Mark called both you and Terry glory hunters because you are from London. It was a joke, of course. I know. Yeah, I know, mate. But he's from Nottingham, isn't he? So he can't talk. Yeah, it was a joke. I know. Terry and me, and we went to the same school, Tyberg. The same school. We lived up the road, literally from each other, 5 minutes up the road from each other. Yeah. I have nothing against them. Like, Terry's always given me an opportunity. I've never had a problem with Mark, although, you know, Mark needs to get me on his channel one day. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, look, yeah. Sit. Only Dylan. Oh dear. Saudi, they still depend on their old players since 2018. They doesn't develop their youth. They have got youth players, though, Hussein. They're just not bringing them through. I don't think they understand the importance of bringing through young players. I don't know why they're not bringing them through, but they have got youth players there. They've got some good ones as well. You know what I mean? But they're just not bringing them through in the quantity that they should. You know what I mean? I would say. Corner for Saudi Arabia. Can you believe it? But that's a poor corner. The less we say about that corner, the better we say. Guys, that was a poor corner. Richard, a lot of the YouTube channels are very clickbait. Yours is the best for proper United news. So thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate you, mate. Yeah, they are clickbait. Yeah, a lot of them are clickbait. You know, some of them act like nice people, and I know that they're not nice people. There's some out there they act like they're really nice and they're friendly and that, but they're not. They're worst people in the world, mate. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, trust me, man. Some of them are just actors. You know, there's so many though. There's so many. It's unreal in this hemisphere. I think there'll probably be about 5 minutes added on. There always is because of the hydration break. At least that you would say about Saudi Arabia is that they stem the bleeding a little bit and they're not conceding as much as they were in the opening 20 minutes. So you could say that about it. It's 22 minutes. It was 3-0. So they have calmed it down a little bit. That's a good thing for them. But you know what? The second half is still to come, of course. Here comes Spain, though, on the left-hand side. Having said that, they could make it over the bar from Rodri. Beef, Sal, which third teams do you want through? Which third teams do you want through? There's going to be loads, mate. There's about 8 teams who can go through third place, mate. I'm not too bothered, to be honest with you. I'll be honest, I'm not too bothered. I support England. I support England. I'm English. I support England. I hope England do well. That's it. Whoever England play, I just bring it on. That's it. And that's what I would say about it. You got to be the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best, isn't it? And that's all I would say about it. At the end of the day, Lou is real, Beef. Lou is lovely. Yes, very real, very, very real. Yeah, and I only, as you can tell, I get on with those people. The ones I get on with, they're real. Trust me. The people I tell you, that I tell you are real. And that's why I gave you the link to her channel and stuff like that all day long. You know what I mean? But there are some people who are not. They're fake, mate. You know what I mean? And I have it. You know, I'm good authority. You know what I mean? I have people come in my channel sometimes and they tell me, oh, did you hear that? Or did you hear this? And did you hear that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's so frustrating. 5 minutes of injury time, like predicted. 5 minutes of injury time, guys. 3-0 to Spain in this game. I cannot see Saudi doing anything in this game of significance. If they get a goal, I think that'll be enough. I used to follow most of the popular United related channels, but a lot of them of racism made me leave. Most of all them, I just called it as is. Tybo. A lot of them are sinister. A lot of them are full of agendas. A lot of them are hateful. A lot of them are abusive towards the managers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Beef, she's Irish, mate. Irish, not Welsh. Definitely not Welsh. No. But yeah, you know what I would say is a lot of them are sinister. A lot of them are agenda driven. And as we know with Ruben Amorim, and as we know with Eric Ten Hag and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the abuse that went out, and the annoying thing is that they abused the manager. They won't abuse the board. You know, the biggest problem. You know, at the end of the day, the biggest problem is the board, not the managers. It never has been. Here comes Saudi Arabia. Good little bit of play here. Great play. They're coming through, and there you go. They're getting a little bit better, though. It's a throw into Saudi Arabia on the near side. This stadium looks like the San Siro a little bit. There is a throw in on the near side for Saudi Arabia. They're playing a lot better now, I would say that, but it's too little, too late now, isn't it? It's too little, too late. Too late. They've Sonny's statement came to this game. You know, shot deflected, cleared away by Rodri. Here comes Saudi though with the ball. Can they play it long? No, they're not. They're playing it short. Tybo, this game is over, so it's time to talk about music. And yeah, Tybo, there you go. We've had a lot of them in this tournament, to be honest with you. To be fair, we have had a lot of those chats and stuff like that, definitely. This makes me laugh like the other day, Tybo. I don't know if I told you, but someone messaged me and said, Sal, You know, when you do them watch-alongs, you should concentrate on the game. You know, you shouldn't be talking about other things. You should be on the game. I'm like, oh my goodness me, what are you talking about? It's a watch-along. It's a watch-along for a friendly, mate. I said, you know, watch-alongs ain't exclusively like watching the game and just watching the game and, you know, being a robot. Yeah, we communicate. It's like it's basically like a pub, you know, where we sit here and we talk about music, football, everything, and then the side eye, we're watching a game as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, some people just want the world to burn, don't they? They just want the world to burn and stuff like that, guys. Um, yeah, it's just crazy. Some people, honest to God, really are. Evening, Jay. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope everything is good with you, mate. Evening to you all, evening to everyone in the stream, of course, guys. Absolutely. Focus on Haiti versus Cape Verde or something. Yeah, yeah. They said, "Oh, Sal, you know what? You got the names wrong on you know, when you were commentating on the game." And mate, I said, "Mate, listen, like, you know, we don't. This is a what? Do they understand the concept of a watch along? Right? We call the game as it is. We talk about it between us, like mates, like friends, and that's what we do. You know what I mean? And you know, that's what it is. And we give our opinion on the game. You know, we're not here to say, oh, here's Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, he passes it to Pedri. Pedri to Rodri. Rodri, back to the goalkeeper. Back to the goalkeeper, back to the left back. The left back to the right back. We don't do that. It's not Sky Sports. The main problem in football is transfer news has gone 24/7. When I was younger, it was CFAX and the back page of the newspaper. Or Richard used to ring up the hotline, the Man United hotline. You know what I mean? There used to be a Man United hotline used to ring, and then he used to give you the lowdown on the transfers and stuff like that. Yeah, the newspapers we used to look at, the little archive, and what you look at is you look at Man United. If you see Man United, you know what I mean? A little bit of transfer news and things like that back in the good old days, mate. Terry is an Arsenal fan. Did you know? Yeah, I do, mate. Me and him are from the same town, mate. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't know if he's an Arsenal fan. I don't know that. I don't think so. I think, but there is a lot of rumors and stuff flying about. But I'm not going to say that. I won't say that's exclusively right, but obviously he does come across as one, and that's me as a buddy of his. MEC Jack, Spain flying. Yeah, I mean, Saudi Arabia crawling. My goodness me, they were awful. Guys, I didn't know that you've got Thomas Frank on the BBC to give you all the lowdown and the expert analysis. Guys, you turn over, you got some woman who should be working in a laundrette, looking at, all right, mate, you know what I mean? Should be on EastEnders. All right, mate, the reason is, right? You see this, right? You know the tactics, right? Yeah. Let me have a B Sarni. There we go. Yeah, no. And we got Thomas Frank. At least we got Rooney. At least you got Rooney. That's what I would say. At least you got Rooney. That's a good thing. You know what I mean? Jack, stop the timer. It's half time. Sorry, mate. Sorry, guys. This game is hypnotized to me, mate. I wanted the game to go on. It's so exciting. I just want the game to go on and on and on. Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Terry's United conspiracy. Yeah, I don't give it. I don't know. It's the thing with me. I don't come on here and say that Terry is this, Terry's that. Terry, like, look, one thing. Let me just say this. Okay, let me clear this up for you. I came from the same town as Terry. I went to the same school as Terry. Right? We literally live. You know, we literally lived 5 minutes from each other. Right? You can ask him. Right? He used obviously what it is. There in regards to Arsenal fans are very potent online. They're everywhere. Social media, this, that, and the other. They're everywhere. You know what I mean? So he feeds into that market. He's feeding into them because he knows that with Arsenal fans, they're very like outspoken, loud voices and stuff like that. And let's be honest, mate, they're very good at social media. And if you keep close with Arsenal fans, I can't keep close with Arsenal fans. I can't pretend to like Arsenal fans. I'm sorry, I can't. You know, because I come from a historical background where I remember Arsenal fans. Right? I'm not. You know, I've been a Man United fan 40 years. I know how Arsenal fans are and stuff like that. So I would never gas them at all. I'll probably go as far as to say, yeah, they did it right there. They're a good team. That's about it. That's probably all I would do. But other than that, I don't think so, mate. Absolutely. Big up, mate. Big up, Tybo. A really good game. Spain will end 5-0. MC Jack, probably. Big up, Mama Flossie. How you doing, Floss? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. The legend, of course. Richard, 50p a minute for team talk got you in trouble with my mum. Yeah, I racked up a high bill, mate. A very one. Because they used to pick up the phone and there used to be the music and stuff like that. And then obviously Manchester United have targeted Karol Boborski in a 3.5 million deal from Sparta Prague. You remember that? I mean, after Euro 96, right? I mean, I was desperate to get, I don't know about you, but I was like, let's get Karol Boborski. We need to get Karol Boborski. I was like, you know what I mean? Because obviously that goal in Euro 96 where he looped it over the goalkeeper and stuff like that. And there was this flavor of the month thing with him in it. You know what I mean? Obviously, Karol Boborski was unfortunate. He came in such a great team. How would he get into that team? Do you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, Karol Boborski was around now. He'd be one of the best wingers in the world. That's what I would say. Definitely. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah. So, guys, we are really looking forward to the second half, ain't we? Is there going to be a cup? Is there going to be a comeback for Saudi Arabia? You know what I mean? Is there going to be a comeback for Saudi Arabia? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. If they get a goal, though, look, listen, you know, you never know. But the way they're playing, I just can't see it. To be fair, they started the game so badly. It's very hard to flip it. You know, problem is Beckham came at the same time. So yeah, Beckham. We already had Giggsy who could play as well. Lee Sharp, was Lee Sharp still there, wasn't he? I think Lee Sharp left in about 90. Yeah, about that season. I think it was that season actually, 1996, 97. But Andre Kanchelskis had just left, of course. Yeah, because 95, Beckham came through, isn't it? 95, 96, can't win anything with kids. We had Beckham, we had Giggs, of course. I think Lee Sharp still played for Man United at that period, if I'm not wrong. And then, yeah. It was difficult to get in that side, to say the least. And I would say exactly the same thing about Juan Sebastian Veron and whoever walked into that football team. It was extremely difficult to get into that side who are proven winners. You know what I mean? It was hard. And, you know, it was Giggs, Scholes, Keane and Beckham, wasn't it? That was it. I mean, don't argue. It was that. Do you know what I mean? Big Bully, Sal, bloody hell, man, ran up a bit. I ran up a high bill, mate. I took the risk, though. You know, I took it for the team. I took it. I had to get that chance to news, guys. I'm an old school with this. You know, I was the only one at school, right, who had the daily bloody mirror. Take it with school and looking at the transfers. I was looking at the transfers. I would be like, guys, if you supported Man United a long time, right, and you remember what it was like during the pre-season, it was beauty. It was a thing of beauty. It was a thing of beauty. You would be looking at the small text, right? It was like literally you had to use bloody binoculars to look at this text, right? And it would be results in the friendlies, and it'd be like Rochdale versus Man United, you know what I mean? And it'd be like that, you know, at the end of the day. He did it with Euro 96 goal, the competition against Portugal. Yes, very good goal. So that was a very good tournament, a fabulous tournament. That is what a tournament. If people watch that tournament, I'm telling you, that is what a tournament was all. That is what a tournament was all about. You know, it was like that. It was full of excitement, great games. The England against Holland game, as we all remember, was absolutely great. It was phenomenal. There was a great goal for England when they for Shearer. It was a great time, man. Honestly, good vibes, man. Honestly. Hate to sound very nostalgic and things like that, but it was just good vibes, man. Honestly, football was just a bliss, man. And that team was leading up to what eventually became greatness. You know, Man United's team eventually became greatness, eventually won the Champions League, you know, but not forgetting that team started off, you know, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. They had the disappointment in 98 with Arsenal winning the league. And then they went and won the league in 99 and absolutely smashed it. I mean, it was just unbelievable period, man, in my life. And yeah, when you look about it, you know, I will always be thankful for these things because at the end of the day, not many Man United fans have witnessed what we've seen. You know what I mean? And I remember sitting on the beach in Barcelona after the 98-99 final, having traveled by coach to Barcelona at 16 years old, by the way, and saying that, you know, sitting there to myself and, you know, speak to my mate and said, you know what? We may never see anything like this again. You know that this is unbelievable. You know, just live the moment. And it was like that. You know what I mean? And at that time, I said, you know what? If we never win anything ever again, I'll be content, because what I've seen today, I mean, I cannot believe what has happened. You know, and I was behind the goal Ali Gunnar scored, so it went from like so much disappointment to absolute euphoria in a minute. It was like the emotions were just so much, guys. I did an article on it about 10 years ago. A big article on it. I posted it one day on my Twitter page. I thought it was a very nice article. I spoke about my experience and stuff, and it was a great article. Yeah. Big up, Mama. Agree, Sal. Back then it was different. It was so different. It had soul, didn't it? It was just, you know, it was innocent. You know, and everything we had was football. Like, I would go home from school, get my rucksack, put my rucksack down, get that football, and I'm off to the gravel. It was back then we used to have a gravel, and I used to play football. It used to be opposite the Leighton Orient football ground, and we used to play football there, and that was our life. That was our life. And every day it was the same thing: football. You know, so obviously football's declined because obviously no one plays it these days. But yeah, it was good vibes, man. I mean, I'll never forget it. Never forget it. You know, I appreciate it, and I appreciate having witnessed all of that, and it'll never change. You know what I mean? Go into the newsagent on the way to school and read the back pages of the updated transfer news. That's what it was, mate. That's us, isn't it? That's us. You know what I mean? And people can never understand what it was like, but we didn't have nothing, but we had everything. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. We had nothing, but we had everything. You know, and that's exactly what I would say. Back then, it was an article on a player potential moving to United, and then a confirmation. No drama, no nothing. You just see the new guy wearing the shirt in his Old Trafford game was so much better. Life had so much more fun, yeah. Like these days completely different. There's too much access, if you know what I mean. There's too much access. Like, I have access to the club, right? I'm different now, but I do have access to the club. I do have access to people who work at the club. This is where I get my information from, right? But in regards to back then, you know, when only a few people had access to the club, you know, but football's changed so much these days. Everyone's got access. In regards to, you know, social media, you could just approach any player on social media and say whatever you want to say. You know, after the game, back in the 90s and that, once the game is finished, that's it. What's your prediction? 5-0, I'm saying, Rajat. 5-0. The Mirror, that red top paper, you recall Oliver Holt and Harriet. Absolutely. I can't understand what you're reading, Beef, but I don't know how you're writing, Beef. I don't understand it. It may be an issue with your keyboard, but I don't know what's going on. Big up yourself. You always say the truth. You read every message. That show your politeness. Ephraim, every single one of us is the same. We're all Man United fans. I know special to you. I know better than anyone else. It's as simple as that. All I am is a Man United fan over 40 years who love the football club. I want the football club to succeed. That's it. That's all I am. I'm not bigger than the football club. I have my knowledge of the football club, and that's what I like to give. I have my experiences. That's what I love to give. But yeah, I have a great community. It might be a small community, but it's, I'm happy with it. You know, I'm delighted and humble. And I was raised as a humble kid, guys, from Leytonstone in East London. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like some sort of arrogant guy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I appreciate you, Ephraim, and I appreciate your kind words and stuff like that. Absolutely. I miss the old days. Rob, me too, mate. Me too. I miss it as well, man. I know some people will look at you and say, "Oh, you're just an old fogey. You're just an old fogey. You're just, you know what I mean, and stuff like that." You know, it's not. People don't understand the vibes back then. They don't understand what it was like. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and if I could give a Man United fan of today that opportunity to feel what we felt and witness what we witnessed, I mean, I would love to do that. Unfortunately, but we're lucky in a way. You know, we were the chosen ones. I mean, we witnessed a lot. We witnessed a lot of trophies and stuff like that. I've seen 13 trophies of crying out loud. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like when Arsenal fans come up to me and say, "Well, you haven't won anything since 2013. You haven't won the league since 2013." I say, "Mate, I've witnessed 13 trophies, mate." You know what, guys? We were winning leagues so many times, right, that it got boring for me. I'll be honest. I actually felt sorry for the team that lost. That is how many trophies, how many leagues we won. It was actually boring. You know what I mean? Because oh yeah, we got another one. Hey, I mean, it was like that. You know what I mean? Oh, another one, third in a row. There you go. Absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? Good old days, beef bully. United States got main in a footy. I liked the bit before rugby. I love still music, pre-social media, pre-internet, etc. Not social media and the technology is a fantastic thing for all different sorts of reasons. But I do believe that everything is just too accessible these days. Everyone is trying to be somebody. Everyone's trying to be a superstar. Now, I did music for 20 years. I was in the music industry for 20 years before YouTube and internet and that came around. You know what I mean? So I came through the hard way. You know what I mean? I was on TV when it was hard to be on TV. You know what I mean? Back then, it was difficult. You had to actually have a talent, right? You know what I mean? Not just sign up to Fanalytics and you know, Fanalytics and put your name in the raffle. No, it was actually difficult to get on TV. And, you know, ended up doing a lot of things in music, ended up working with platinum selling artists. And my brother who's a musician, you know, got in the charts and, you know, did very well. And, you know, and the social media side of things is just tried to fabricate success. And, you know, and it's making it people who wouldn't lift a finger otherwise without social media, you know, trying to act like somebody's and act like they would, you know, like, for example, like, guys, I'm in the UAE at the moment, right? I'm in the UAE. I'm 3 hours ahead of everyone in the UK. I'm 3 hours ahead, right? So if a game kicks off at 8, it's kicking off at 11, guys. If the game kicks off at 9, it's kicking off at midnight. You know what I mean? That's where I am. And that happens to me all next season. When the clocks go backwards in England, the clocks don't go backwards or forwards in the UAE. They stay the same. So I'll end up 4 hours, you know, ahead. You know what I mean? So not to moan about. Tyber, George Mendes is as famous as some countries' president. Today's football, unfortunately, yes. George Mendes is a problem. George Mendes is a problem, to be honest. Yamal's coming off and Oyarzabal is coming off. That's strange. Pino and Torres is coming on. That's a good touch, to be honest with you. The manager's giving an opportunity to these players. He's keeping them. You know what? You know that's clever for the manager. You know, he's keeping the players fresh. You know, he's keeping the players fresh. He's keeping those young. He's keeping Lamine Yamal and that fresh. Anyway, substitutions to Saudi Arabia also coming on, guys. Let me just read this. So Musab Al-Jawaya is come off and Abdullah Al-Akbari is come off. The guys that come on, Abdullah Alamodan and Mohamed Kano has come off, guys. Come on. They have to do something. Well, I don't know how they're going to approach this second half. I don't know whether they're going to just say, okay, we're going to take the fee, 3-0, shut up shop, and that's it. Or they're going to say, right, we can get back into this game, lads, and stuff like that. I don't think they can get back into this game. Absolutely not. Anyway, Saudi will be kicking off from left to right, guys. From left to right. Saudi will be kicking off the game. Let's go. See how this game goes. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended 3-0, to be honest with you. The games end like that sometimes. Maybe KSA need to retire and forfeit this match. No, Rajat. No, they're in the World Cup, mate. You know, they don't need to retire. They had a draw the first game, mate. They drew against Uruguay, mate. You know what I mean? They don't need to do any of that. They don't need to retire. What do you mean? None of that, Rajesh. Let's be honest. The only reason the world would be is a Messi is because of his president who lives the life through social media. So let's be honest. The only reason the world is a mess, is because of the president who lives his life through social. Yeah. He's really messed things up, mate. Really has. Social media took away the magic of life from the younger people of today. Feel sorry for them. They don't even know what they are missing. Playing hide and seek, and they don't know. When we used to communicate with each other. We used to knock each other's door. You know, every morning I would get up. You know, when I go to school, I would knock on my friend's door. You know, no calls, no texts, nothing. Knock on the door. Let's go to school. Let's go. Football in the hand. You know, and that's what it used to be. Yeah. Did you guys used to play with flyaways? You remember those flyaway footballs? Did you used to play with them? Classics, man. Bear me a second. Chance for Spain again. Corner to Spain. Nothing changed then, has it? Since I've been away. True Sal, the only joke but they're never going to make a comeback. No, they're not. But don't give up, mate. We're Man United fans. No one should say that. At the end of the day, they're in the World Cup, and that's why I'm saying congratulations to them for qualifying for the World Cup. You know, Spain could beat anyone 3-0, Rajat. Not Rajesh. Rajat, sorry, mate. Spain could beat anyone 3-0. You know, they could beat England 3-0 on their day. You know what I mean? This is what Spain are. They're absolutely phenomenal side. Most kids now only want to be YouTube stars. Everyone wants to be a superstar, Rich. Everyone wants to be. You know, everyone wants to be a superstar. That's the thing. You know, chance 4-0. Cucurella. 4-0 to Spain, guys. It is really now getting embarrassing. But it is 4-0 to Spain. Already. It was unmarked, guys. You can't be marking like that. It was unmarked. It's 4-0. Well, I did say 5-0, didn't I? I did say 5-0. I think it probably will be 5-0. Or maybe 6. Who knows? But yeah, not a good start to the second half of Saudi Arabia. Definitely not. Definitely not. But let me tell you something. It's really weird because there's teams like Iran, right? And Iran will prove it today. Who you know what can play good football? Who don't get thumped? Who don't get slapped up? You know what I mean? And but there's teams like Saudi Arabia that do. You know. 4-0. Yeah, Spain looking good for the qualification with 4 goals. This is going to be more. Oh no. Iran did very well last game. I was impressed with them. I'm looking forward to seeing Iran tomorrow morning play. Was it tonight? Sorry, against Belgium. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a competitive game. You're going to see it. You're going to see a competitive game, 100% with that one. So far, one of the most impressive teams I've seen is Morocco. And I knew Morocco would be a good team before the tournament, but yeah, United need to sign a player from Japan or South Korea this summer. So yeah, unfortunately, we're so one-dimensional, mate. You know, it's just they're so one-dimensional. Man United scouts. We don't look in Japan. We don't scout in Japan enough. I know that for certain because I did some work with FC Tokyo many years ago, and I know that Man United don't go there, and Man United don't. Scout there enough, and they should, because the mentality and the temperament over there is fantastic, you know, and it's beginning to show. And back then in 2013, when I was there, I can see the talent coming through, and I knew that they were going to have this golden generation that are going to come. And eventually, the thing is, they don't necessarily have like the best team, but they're the best players, but they have the best team. That's the ultimate thing with Japan, you know, and South Korea. And as we know, we have good memories of South Korea with Ji-sung Park as well, don't we? So, yeah, man. Raja, I think Iran against Berger, it should be, but it's very difficult, obviously, with the situation with Iran, isn't it? Because they have to go back and forth to America, don't they? You know what I mean? At the same day and stuff like that. It is very difficult, you know, very unique situation that they're going through at the moment, having to fly straight after the game and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, guys. Sports Javier, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Japanese DM Seino is a beast playing for Mainz 04 Buze. I mean, look, you know what I would say, my friend Javier. You know what? I know who you're talking about, and I know what Man United need to do. You know, is Man United need to find these players and scout these players, or just go and get them. Do you know what I mean? Because these players, like, the problem is, like, there's a little bit of bias when it comes to like Japanese and South Korean players. You know, they're not taken serious as they should be. And every single time a team signs a player from there, they end up being, here's a chance for Spain, a chance to make it 5. Good save. And it's back at the goalkeeper. Yeah. They are, and I agree with you. Why not go and buy Sano? Why not? It's not going to cost an arm and a leg. It's going to, it's going to be a lot cheaper option. Why not do that? I think Man United should absolutely, mate. Obviously, whether they do it or not is a completely different story. Richard, will the men start? No. Sadly, Rich, for some stupid reason, Seny Lamans is third choice goalkeeper. So I don't think he will be playing tonight. No, I mean, I think honestly, let me tell you the problem with Belgium. Belgium are stuck in the past. De Bruyne, Meunier, Lukaku, Courtois, they're stuck in the past, mate. Tillmans, they won't move on. They need to bring some new players through. They need to start playing the new players, the younger players. Because at the end of the day, that team right there was deemed a golden generation a long time ago. They didn't win anything golden, did they? You know what I mean? And they got to start again. I think Seny Lamans should be the first choice goalkeeper for Belgium. Absolutely. They're missing a trick there. So glad Iran is there despite everything I heard. The captain talking, we only want peace. I think, yeah, we all do, Tyberg. I've lived it, Tyberg. I've had this year 2,500 things flying over my head. You know what I mean? And interceptions and whatnot. So I've witnessed it. And of course, until a certain place in the world is sorts themselves out, there's never going to be peace, because once there's a cancer in the Middle East, there'll never be it, unfortunately, because of them. Morocco looks good, but like others, Germany could go far. If flop, or where do you see them going? My evaluation of Germany will occur when they get to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. That's when my evaluation will be more potent. But you can never write off Germany. Absolutely not. They've got good players. They've got a good team. They've got some good leaders in their team. And I think you can't write off anyone at the moment. When it gets to the quarterfinal, when it gets to the last 16, the quarterfinal and the semi-final, it's up in the air. Who wants it the most, isn't it? I know, Richard, because he's they play him as a third choice goalkeeper, isn't it? You know what I mean? What's a joke is Saka. Saka's injured. Saka is training again. We could have easily bought, another player in there, another midfielder in there, Iran shouldn't have done it stream puller. Everyone should have done it stream puller, not just Iran, everyone. You know what I mean? Because if this was another nation, you all know what will be going on, don't you, mate? Tyborg, Modric shouldn't be there either. Yeah, he's finished. Big up Modric. Good day. Big up Yale. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I'm surprised by the score. I thought Saudi Arabia were a very good team. I think they played the occasion rather than the game. This is my evaluation of the game. They played the occasion rather than the game. They're not crap. They drew against Uruguay, so they're not bad. And I just think they got nervous, and they, the mentality-wise, they're weak in this game, unfortunately. And they've been slapped up today, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately. Richard, TalkSport are saying that if Rice misses the Ghana game, they should play James ahead of Maynard. Oh my God, Richard. It's not going to happen like that. James will not play in the midfield. James will not play in the midfield, mate. He will not. It'd be Mainu. It'd be Mainu in the midfield there, not Dave James. Absolutely not. If they did that, then I'd give up. You know what I mean? But Mainu will get his chance. Don't worry. Fergatov. Nagelsmann in the past 2 games is showing he's a good manager. He is a good manager. He's not scared to change things up. He's not only that, he makes good decisions at the right time. Bergatov. He makes good decisions at the right time. And that's what I noticed. Yesterday, he made a change for Undav to come on. And I thought that Germany was splendid. They're phenomenal when he came on. I really do. Very, very well said, Mr. Very well said. We all are hypocrites. Appreciate what you said. Mate, you just have to be a human. That's it. That's all it is. To know, I'm a human being. I know what happened, and I live in the Middle East. I live here, you know what I mean? And I know what happened, you know what I mean? And it's a disgrace, and how it's been brushed under the carpet. and you know, one nation here is getting away with what they're getting away with. Obviously, this YouTuber only can say so much, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But what I would say is that, yeah, it should have been. It should have been, yeah. But what we do, all I can say is that I hope that, you know, it's, you know, football wins and, you know, they have a good tournament. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. And yeah, it's sad what happened. It's ridiculous that we live with so much evil. You know what I mean? How can people just brush this under the carpet? Nagelsmann will be the Man United manager after Euro 2028, Sal. Do you think so? He might be Man United manager next season. Who knows? I'm not going to say that. No, absolutely. But he might be Man United manager next season. You know? Who knows? Who knows? Charlie, I do like you, Nagelsmann. The joy he gets when the team scores when they are playing bad. You can see it on his faces, and it's been absolutely. Simple. Everyone knows the truth, and but they're closing the eyes around them. Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't fit a narrative, if it doesn't fit them, you know, the biggest danger in this world. What if I told you guys that everything you've been told in the last 20, 30 years has been a lie? What if I told you that they didn't do it? And what if I told you they did it? You know what I mean? But these people, they got good PR. They put on all the films. You know, oh, Adam Sandler, such a nice guy. Oh, he's such a nice guy. Seth Rogen, such a nice guy. Well, look how funny he is. Look how nice he is. Manipulation in the mind. But they're not. They're actually not. As they said, the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. And the devil will act like your best friend. He's a best friend of everyone. And you know what I mean? And he's not. Exactly. You know, God willing, mate. Hopefully everything will be sorted out, mate. Well, eventually we know who wins, so don't worry. You know what I mean? Yeah. Guys, I will be in Italy in a couple of weeks. I'm back in Italy. Yes, I am. I'm back in Italy. Obviously, I'm there every summer. Guys, I will be doing some little bit of research in regards to scouting and journalist work and stuff like that. I will be back there in 2 weeks, of course. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be fun, of course. And yeah, hopefully, we get some transfer news then. Absolutely. Who's on the floor there? Nico Williams is coming on. Fergatov should have been a Manchester United manager next season. I'm very concerned about Carrick. Look, one thing I would say, Fergatov, is I'm going to wish him all the best. But if he's brought into next season with one hand tied behind his back because of the board, who's going to succeed at the end of the day? Who's going to be like that? You know what I mean, as Anderson as a cutthroat businessman, he likes, cutthroat is a good word actually. Supports that stuff going on. You know what I mean? So yeah, couldn't care less about Anderson. He's not funny. So he's a fool, mate. Absolute fool, a clown. He's an absolute overrated actor too. Yeah, so Bobby, just like the kids to go to the cinema to watch Toy Story. Glad I didn't miss you, Sal. Big up, my friend. You know what I mean? Have a good one. Enjoy it, mate. Is it the new Toy Story out? Enjoy it, mate. I've heard that the new He-Man is pretty good. If you know, you know. If you know, you know, of course. Yeah. Pick up everyone in the stream, guys. It is Spain for Saudi Arabia nil. I know we're talking about a bunch of other things, but obviously this game is not competitive at all. Like I wanted it to be. I wanted the game to be at least competitive. Do you know what I mean? But it's not. So we're just talking about loads of things, of course, guys. Absolutely. Any subject goes. Chance of Spain, nearly. Good tackle there for Saudi Arabia. And it's a foul for Saudi Arabia. All the actors, singers, petitions are all in the secret club. Yeah. Guys, you forget I was in the music industry 20 years, right? You know what I mean? Sal, at least a 2,000 years a lie, all organized and executed by one group of people and us. Yeah, we know. You're smart. Stream puller, is there any manager who would use the same players available in a club and get the best out of them? No, because they're not good enough. You could lead a cow to the river. You can lead a cow to a river. Doesn't mean they're going to drink out the river. The players are not good enough. The players are proven they're not good enough. Some of them for many years. Some of them for a decade. You know, Man United are not far away, but we need a bigger squad and we need better players. We need certain players in certain positions. We need a left back, definitely. We need two midfielders back as well. I mean, let's not forget the engine of the team is the midfield. You know what I mean? Bobby, yeah, it was the new one. Yeah, going to watch the Jimenez. Yeah, have a good night, my good man, my friend. Thank you so much for your support and that. Really appreciate you popping your head in. It's always good to see Bobby in the house. Yeah, Supergirl's meant to be good as well. That's out next weekend, Charlie. I think. Yeah, that's meant to be good as well. That one. There's a whole load of new films coming out that I want to catch up on definitely. Maybe during the holidays I will. Obviously, over here they break up in a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks they break up. So maybe then I might go and we see one or two movies and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. Let's hope so. Big everyone in the stream, guys. We've got 27 minutes of this game to go, and there's no chance for Saudi Arabia. It's 4-0 to Spain. The only thing I can see is it being another couple of goals for Saudi, you know? But one thing I will say about this channel, what I like about this channel is that we have good conversations here. We have really good, nice conversations about stuff, you know what I mean? Not just about football and stuff. And, you know, it's not sugar-coated and it's not, you know, it's a real chat that we have and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I do like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot, absolutely. Spain on the prowl here. This could be 4-0, 5-0. A great ball from Mikel Merino and Ferran Torres with an awful miss there. I mean, he missed the boat post. It was a magnificent ball from Mikel Merino. It was onside. He just needed to tap it in on getting it on target. It would have been a goal. It was a poor miss from Ferran Torres. Yeah, that's awful. He should have scored that one. 100% should have scored that one. My goodness me, that was not very pretty. Definitely not. He missed it completely. Missed it. You know what I mean? My goodness me. Don't forget, guys, I'm up tomorrow morning for the game with New Zealand in Egypt tomorrow, which should be a good one. Spanish Nico Jackson, Dylan. Yeah, the Spanish league. I think so. It looked like the way. It definitely looked that way there, 100%. Lamine and Mamal, they rested him. I think they rested him for the next game, isn't it? So that's a good tactic to do. Give some of these players a rest. It's a good tactic. Stream puller. We don't have prolific goal scorers like the past ones in Spain, Holland, Germany, and England. Let me tell you, England, they used to have Alan Shearer, Robbie Fowler, Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, Stan Collymore. Who else? Chris Sutton. There used to be an array, pool of talent in England, like unbelievable strikers everywhere. You go, Dion Dublin. Everywhere you look, there was great strikers out there. You know what I mean? These days, in all of Europe, there's the pool of strikers has declined significantly. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. It's declined significantly. Spain have got it here on the left. Pedri. Nico Williams. Williams takes on his man, crosses the ball in well, and it's another corner to Spain here. Spain looking for the fifth goal, of course. We've got about 24 minutes to go in this game, 23 minutes to go in this game. It's still 4-0 to Spain. Spain have only added one in this half. So I suppose Saudi Arabia will be happy with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is Harry Kane the only one in England? No future prolific striker. You know, I like even Tony. I think he's good, but there's no one like Harry Kane. Like Harry Kane, just like many strikers in Europe, is the last of a dying breed. There's not many coming through now. It's the last of a dying breed. Is there something in my mouth? Hydration break, guys. Hydration break. There we go. Yeah, this hydration break is going to add a little bit of time, isn't it? This is what happens. That's why it's like 5 minutes injury time all the time. That's why you get the 5 minutes injury time, 6 minutes injury time all the time, of course, because of these hydration breaks. We have got 20 minutes left. Don't forget, it's a big game tomorrow. We got Argentina against Austria tomorrow. I think that will be a good game. I actually think that would be a good game. I think that's going to be a competitive game. I'm not going to judge Argentina on that win against Algeria because I don't think Algeria turned up, to be honest with you. The goalkeeper was absolutely diabolical. Yeah, especially the couple of goals where he let through his hands and stuff like that. Don't forget, guys, can you smash a like for me if you can be as kind to do that for me? That'd be fantastic. Smash a like on the stream. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be great. Let me just read the updates here. Danny Olmo is a very good player. I think we missed a boat with Danny Olmo. Every time I see Danny Olmo, I'm always impressed with him for Spain. Creative player there. Pedri's off. I've always been impressed with Danny Olmo. Every time he's played, I think he's so underrated. You know what I mean? Spain are making all the changes now. They're just taking it easy. Fabian Ruiz has come on for Spain, the PSG player, as we know. Good player coming on. They got a really good squad, Spain, to be honest with you. A very good squad. They're going to be dangerous in the tournament, 100%. Definitely going to be dangerous in the tournament. To be honest, Saudi have been a little bit more solid. I'll be honest. They've been solid in this half. They haven't been as bad as they were in the first half. That's for certain. Do you know what I mean? I would say. And they haven't been as bad as that. Long ball from the goalkeeper. Can Saudi get a bit of respectability from this game? Maybe get a goal, something like that. That would be great. Maybe. Can they do that? This moment's time, they haven't even breathed on Spain's goal this game so far. So, just doesn't look likely that they're gonna get another goal. They're gonna get a goal. To be honest with you, obviously scored against Uruguay last game. Never looked like scoring today. Never looked like getting a goal or anything like that. You've got I looked at the lineup from Saudi for this game, and I felt it just was a very negative approach, in my opinion. You get these opportunities to play in tournaments at once. Do you know what I mean? You don't get these opportunities again, and you got to capitalize on these opportunities. You may never get another opportunity to play in the World Cup. I'll say that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But we got about, I'll say, 28 minutes to go, guys. 18 minutes to go. Sorry. It is still 4-0. Here comes Saudi on the left-hand side. Cut out there well. Austria will give them the game. I hope they do, Tyberg. I hope they humble them. I really do. Austria, a good team. I really hope that they humble them. Let's see. Someone needs to stop Messi, doesn't he? There's someone needs to go there and someone needs to stop Messi. Yeah, 100%. Someone needs to stop them. Well, Spain have approached this game very well. They got the job done. That's it. You know, they're winning the game well. They're going to win the game well. As we know, Spain are going to be a threat in this tournament. Of course they are. And whoever plays them next round or the round after is going to have a difficult game. Definitely, 100%. But one thing is for certain, they're not unbeatable. They are beatable. Cape Verde showed that you can defend against them if you defend as a unit and you're solid. You can get something from them. You know what I mean? But they have got very good players all through the squad. Of course they have. You know what I mean? But the teams have to approach it like when they play Spain with a little bit more positivity, a little bit more belief, in my opinion, because there's a lot of people not believing, a lot of players there in Saudi Arabia just letting themselves down today, just expected a lot more. Do you know what I mean? I've seen Omar live a couple of times, and I was very impressed. I thought he's off to England, but he chose Barcelona. Yeah, United were linked to him, Tybell, for a while, and we didn't make that move for whatever reason, especially after the European Championships in that year. How they didn't make that move is unbelievable because he's such a good player. He's a creative, very creative, and that's what I like about him. He can get that pass through the eye of the needle sort of thing. I mean, very creative, very good player. I'm surprised no one else got him, but yeah, he's playing in a good team right now, so he's good. He's probably going to stay there for probably the rest of his career now, isn't it? If they allow him to be, Barcelona. So yeah, Olmo is a good player, definitely. Spain are full of talented players. I find it funny though that Marino, Zubamendi, and Raya are on the bench. All the Arsenal players are on the bench, isn't it? Because Arsenal fans will have you believe that their players are the best in the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do find that funny, definitely. Guys, we've got about 15 minutes plus injury time to go in this game, guys. It is still 4-0 to Spain. Isn't quite going to be the 8 that Germany scored in 2002, but it is going to be an annihilation, definitely. Here comes Spain, though. On the right-hand side, Spain going for the attack. Good tackle. Out for a throw-in to Spain. There we go. Out for a throw-in to Spain. Spain prowling, looking for the 5th goal, of course. Fernando Herrero in the crowd and Salgado. What legends. Herrero, Salgado in the crowd. What legends they are. Stream puller, what would be more advisable for an underdog countries to approach games with mighty countries, play defensive while buoyant, or take risks and possibility of a thrashing? Mixture, mate. Mixture. Fight. Number one, fight for the game. Fight. Concentrate. And when you get an opportunity, you take it. And that's it. You know what I mean? Have an attack in that. Always give the opposition something to think about. these teams are professional footballers. They should always have the ability to cause problems. Do you know what I mean? They all have the same facilities. At the end of the day, um, don't approach the game so negatively. That's what I mean. Because the problem is if you go full on negative, it's very hard to flip it to positive or a little bit more positive if you concede a goal. You know what I mean? It's almost impossible to try and turn it the other way around, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I always believed in believing in yourself and believing in because it's 11 against 11, isn't it? Hey, Chow, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing? What are you doing, mate? Ineos are playing with us and always going to be the cheap options. Yeah, I'm going to speak about that tomorrow, Chow. Yeah, they are playing with us, but obviously I'm not going to stress myself about that. At the moment, it's still early days in the transfer window, of course, so let's wait and see. What I would say is that it's not looking good, bruv, and everyone has the right to be a little bit concerned. However, I'm not going to stress myself now. Let's wait and see what happens. It's not Ineos, it's Glazers as well. Glazers and Ineos are both the same thing. So I would say both of them are the same. The Glazers still sign the checks, by the way, guys. They still own the football club. Yeah, but Ineos are obviously part of them. All right. Here comes Saudi Arabia. Can Saudi Arabia get a goal? It'd be nice for Saudi Arabia to get a goal in this game. You know what I mean? It would be nice. What do you think of Japan national team performance yesterday? Good performance. But I felt like they expected to win that game. It was an easy game for them. I think the best performance of the tournament was probably England against Croatia. No one mentions that. But England beat Croatia 4-2. Croatia, World Cup finalists a few years ago. I mean, and I think that was probably one of the performances of the tournament, apart from Cape Verde getting a draw. I think that was one of the performances of the tournament. Japan, look, against Tunisia are rubbish, mate. They lost 5-1 to Sweden. Sweden lost 5-1 to Holland. So I wouldn't judge that too much. I thought they did well, and I expect Japan to have a good tournament. I said that at the beginning of the tournament. I do see weaknesses in their team, but that's another story and stuff. But yeah, Tunisia are absolutely awful, though. I would say that, and they've been awful all tournament, to be honest with you. But yeah, in regards to Man United, look, obviously the window is still early, it's still early days, so it's obviously we've got time, and just wait and see. There's nowhere to hide. That's one thing I'll say. There's nowhere to hide this transfer window. They know what they have to do. You know what I mean? Big up everyone in the stream, guys. Smash a like, guys. If you haven't smashed a like already, if you could do that for me, that would be fantastic. Thank you, everyone. You legends. The game is almost up. Absolutely. Mine was about that as well, Beef, about 1990. I do remember 86 very, very vividly, but 1990 was my first, yeah. That was my first World Cup. That I actually sat there and watched and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. About 9 minutes of the game to go. Spain been comfortable, very comfortable. I can't think of a more comfortable game for them. It's been very easy for them this game. Saudi haven't done anything to hurt them at all. Chance for them, almost an own goal. Sweden were awful yesterday, Chow. Sweden were awful a couple of weeks ago. Look, guys, what I want to clarify is something. Did you know Sweden finished bottom of their group for this World Cup qualification? They only qualified because of the Nations League. They came bottom of their group. They're rubbish. And that's what I would say. So, and they beat Tunisia 5-1. Unbelievable. They had opportunity because of the Nations League. The qualification is mad. Yeah, it was an almost an own goal. It ended up being a good save in the end from the goalkeeper. It's not over Saudi though. I mean, obviously the goal difference is a problem, because the goalkeeper, the goal difference is a problem. But that third place thing going on there. It's going to be goal difference. There's definitely going to be a goal difference because there's going to be a lot of teams on 4 points, and the one who has the best goal difference are probably going. Potter is under pressure. I'm not surprised, Chow. I said it after the Norwegian game a couple of weeks ago in a friendly. They were absolutely dominated by Norway, and I said that tactically they're not very good. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, they're not very good, are they? Do you know what I mean? And yeah. A bit of a slice kick from the goalkeeper there. Bit of a scuff. It was there. Free kick to Saudi Arabia here. Are Saudi Arabia going to get any inkling of a little bit of pride back into this game? Can they get a little bit of pride back in this game? Can they get a little bit of respectability back into this game? Can they? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. 100% going to be difficult. But they've only conceded one in this half. You can argue that. You can say, well, they've only conceded one in this half. Fair play to them for only conceding one. You know what I mean? In this half. Passing around and around. Pedro Porro. Nah, it's given away by Spain. I think the second half, obviously with all the changes in that, I think the second half has been very underwhelming. Definitely. But obviously there's been a lot of changes, there's been a lot of substitutions. So could give that the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. You know what I mean? But yeah, it has been awful. Thomas, Swedish national TV is in deep trouble. The Swedish FA has made terrible acquisitions and have brought in people who don't know anything about football or don't have the experience. So what we all witnessed yesterday is the result of the F-ups. I witnessed it 2 weeks ago, Thomas, when I watched Sweden against Norway, and I saw how tactically inept they were, and a Norwegian team that didn't include Alfie Inge Haaland, were awful. Were really good, and they actually comfortably beat Norway. And I was looking at they comfortably beat Sweden. And I was looking at Sweden and thinking, what's going on with Sweden here? Sweden finished bottom of their group. This is the thing. This is what I'm saying. And they're rather fortunate to be at the World Cup. Maybe they weren't prepared for the World Cup. They weren't ready for the World Cup. Look, there's a couple of players there that I like. I thought a couple of players that Ayali, I think he's a good player. There's a couple there, but I think you're way off at the moment. And the way you were dismantled by, in my opinion, an average Holland team. I'm sorry, but they are very average, in my opinion. I watched them against Uzbekistan a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, what? They are awful. It was unacceptable, and Potter has to go. Potter's not a bad manager. I know about him. He managed Chelsea and stuff like that. But what's going on there? Is it the players? Is it? Are they playing for him? Are they down tooling and stuff? There could be so much going on, of course. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I feel for him. But you know what? That defeat yesterday should have been it. I would have sacked the manager after that performance against Holland. Definitely would have sacked the manager after that performance. I'd have thought, no, you can't have that performance again. You know what I mean? You have to go. Simple. It's been a complete performance from Spain. Yeah, absolutely. It has, and it's been an easy game for them in the end. Nothing from Saudi Arabia, surprisingly. I thought Saudi Arabia would have given a decent account of themselves, whether it's that was defensively or whatever. I thought they would have given a decent account of themselves, absolutely. But They'll live to fight another day. They've got the last game coming up. Who knows what's going to happen? Of course, you never know. So I'm pretty certain that they might go out because of the goal difference. The goal difference is not good. Obviously, it's very important, the goal difference these days, isn't it? They need to sort that out. Bear me a second, guys. Bear me a second. Beef. Also, Italy 82 won the World Cup 3 draws in a row. Chile 98 4 draws in a row. And did it? There's been teams who haven't lost and been knocked and didn't win and didn't win the World Cup. You know. It's as I said earlier in the show. It's not how you start; it's how you finish, isn't it? Exactly that. It's how you finish the World Cup and how much momentum you can get and stuff like that. And yeah, look, it's all about momentum in the World Cup. Luck of the draw, momentum, decisions, everything has to go your way. This is so hard. That's why it's so hard to win it. You know what I mean? That's why it's so hard to win the World Cup. I wonder how much injury time is going to be added on. The Saudi Arabia player is down on the floor, injured. I wonder how much injury time will be added on in this game. Be interesting to see. Probably about 6 or 7 minutes, I would have thought. Probably about that much. If I'm being real, probably about 6 or 7 minutes. Number 17 is coming on for Saudi Arabia here. The number 17 substitute. And is it Kano, the substitute, is coming off? Thomas, Potter got thrown in the last 2 games because Swede dared to take the job. No Swede dared to take the job. We had a Danish manager for over a year before that. They never got rid of him because they were like United bored. Why don't you look for? Is there any Swedish manager out there that could do the job? Why don't get bloody Ibrahimovic in there? Someone like that, who's gonna raise the bar a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Why not someone like that? Someone of Jesper Blomqvist or Heinrich Larsson or someone like that. Thomas Brolin. Get a legend there to manage the team. Maybe do that. Do you know what I mean? That could be a thing. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah. Khalid Abdulrahim's coming on for Saudi Arabia, guys. Absolutely. But I still think the game wasn't as bad as the result shows. Yeah. They got slapped up, Tyberg. They're bad. They got beaten by, in my opinion, it's a poor Dutch team. And I've been watching Holland for a while. For them to get beaten, like that, it was embarrassing, man, honestly. But I tell you what's more embarrassing, Tunisia. That's embarrassing. I mean, they lost 5-1 to Sweden. Do you know what I mean? But Sweden are not out of the woods. They're not out of the tournament. Saudi should be grateful it's only 4-0. They did well in the second half. They've been solid, Hassan. They've done all right. I mean, they haven't been slapped up like Curacao and teams like that. You know what I mean? So they played the best team, one of the best teams, the European champions they played here. Let's not forget that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and they haven't lost as badly as some teams have lost. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like the Tunisias and things like that. You know what I mean? Who've been absolutely beaten badly and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Big everyone on the stream, guys. Thank you, everyone who's joined me today. I really appreciate you all. 6 minutes of added time in this game. We've got 6 minutes to the end of the game. Don't forget, I am back after this game for the Belgium against Iran game. Join me for that, guys. Should be a good game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's more competitive than this game. And that's all I would say about that. Hopefully, it's more competitive than this game. Chance 5-0. Now, my predictions come true, and it is 5-0. It was completely unmarked. It was completely unmarked, and it is 5-0, guys. It was a good move from Spain, and an easy finish there. A tap in for Ferran Torres, and it's 5-0. It's offside. One of the players is playing him onside like a bozo. Let me have a look. It was offside, didn't it? No? It looked offside to me. I think that's going to be offside. I think it's going to be offside, Jay. Jack. Let's have a look. Is that right defender that was playing him on? Maybe. He might just be onside, just about. That right defender was dozing, though. That right defender was so dozing. He was dozing around. What an idiot. It was him who's playing him on. It would have been way offside if he weren't playing him on. Just about on, I'll say. I don't think you can give offside for that. You can't give offside. It's just about on. It's too close. Just about on. But the defender for Saudi Arabia was sleeping. It's too slow, man. Come on, it's 5-0 anyway. It's 5-0 anyway. That'll be his third goal in World Cup football, as the commentator said. It's a goal. It's a goal. It's 5-0. It's 5-0. It's a goal. It is a goal. I'm hearing. It's a goal. No goal. No goal. Yeah, it was offside. No goal. It was offside, Jack. Told ya. Told you he's offside. He had about a foot. He had a foot in it. It was the defender almost played him on, but he was offside in the end. No goal. Now wasted a whole lot of 5 minutes on that. It's ridiculous. Wasted a lot of time on that. Bloody hell! This is why these games are finishing late enough. Obviously, they have to look at every single thing. It was offside, Memusi. I saw it straight away, Jack. I saw it straight away. I feel bad for Saudi Arabia. Yeah. I wouldn't even take that long to get that offside. I saw it straight away. It was about a foot offside, one foot, about that much. But that's what the technology is there for. You got the right decision, but they took too long. That's what I'm concerned about. It's 4-0. Who cares? Like, honestly. So that was Spain are going through. I don't think it's going to affect the score much anyway. But yeah. Now we're going to have another couple of minutes of injury time. This is the thing, you know. Too slow, man. Too slow. It's tragic, Rob. I think everything, yeah. Tragic artist. Just end the misery, for crying out loud. I said it yesterday, Tyberg. I was trying to explain to people. I'm trying to explain to people that some of these teams are just not. No, I know that the World Cup is the World Cup. The World Cup's for everybody, all right? Everyone should have an opportunity in different parts of the world because it is the World Cup, not the European Championships. But the quality, some of these teams have, like, considering some of the teams are at home, obviously Serbia, Ukraine, Albania, Denmark, Italy, Ireland, they're at home, you know what I mean? And teams that can compete as well. And then you think about Nigeria and you think about Cameroon and teams like that. In the end, MEC Jack, I think it is a good result 4-0 because a lot of us were saying 8-0, weren't we? A lot of us were saying 8-0. So in the end, I would say, yeah, it is a good result. You know what I mean? They didn't lose 8. You know what I mean? A bit like, so there you go. So yeah, I would say it is a decent result, not the best result, obviously, but I mean, they didn't lose 8. That's good for them. Guys, hopefully I've given you the link to the game later on. So don't forget to join me for the Belgium against Iran game. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be fantastic. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm doing it, Missy. I'll be straight on after. I'll be back. I'll be 5 minutes before the game. 5 minutes before the game. I'll be on. So it'd be 7:55 UK. 7:55 UK it would be. Full time, guys. Big up, my friend. And looking on the bright side, so big up, Rob. Thank you, guys. Big up, Rob. Big up, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to smash a like on the way out. I will be back in about an hour, guys. So join me for the Iran against Belgium game. Should be a good game, guys. And yeah, Spain have smashed Saudi Arabia by 4 goals to 0. Of course, it could have been a lot worse. They only scored 1 goal in the end in the second half. But obviously, the talent showed that Spain are arrived in this tournament, and Spain will be a danger going on in this tournament. Of course, they will be in problems. They will be a problem team in this tournament. Absolutely, they're going to be an absolute problem in this tournament, guys. Thank you, everyone who's joined me. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Thank you for your support. And please join me for the game a bit later, about an hour's time. Have a good evening. And you know what? Have a drink, whatever you're going to do. Have a sandwich, have a Mars bar, whatever. I'll be back in a minute. Take it easy, guys. Peace.